with Meadow Bridge head coach Dwayne Reichard, the illustrator, the inventor of the Meadow Bridge air raid. And Coach, I say that kind of in jest because, but last year you guys were very successful in the passing game, and that hasn't happened here at Meadow Bridge for many years.
Yeah, when we started to approach last season, we felt like if we were going to be successful in any way, we were going to have to change the way we did things. We spent a lot of times at clinics over the winter. We were, 17 or 18 different clinics or something, and really studied a lot of air raid principles, and we felt like we still wanted to stay true to a power run game, and we were able to do that. But we found it much easier for us to efficiently throw the ball better out of a shotgun style formation rather than the old under center I formation play action that we were so accustomed to.
And not one snap under center last year?
No, in a ball game we were never under center. Now we had a series of it in practice, and we will this year. We haven't done it yet, but we will have a series or so in of what we would like to do if we ever get in a situation where we need to be under center.
Now you have to have a good quarterback first of all to present the air raid as your offense, and you think you have that?
Yeah, going into last year, we ended up with a sophomore quarterback that I wasn't 100% sure as far as the decision-making process with what we were trying to do with it. But when it came down to it, I felt like he did a really good job. I was proud of what he did. Of course, we made some mistakes, from a coaching standpoint, and a player standpoint, made some bad reads and things here and there that created a few more turnovers than I would like. But that's definitely the things that we're working on right now to eliminate.
With the air raid, and this is a school that, as you know from playing here and playing with some good tailbacks yourself, this has been predominantly a run school with Coach McClure all those years. What did Coach McClure say to you when he found out you were passing like this?
Well, he didn't really criticize the offense or anything. Now,
I tease because he's a big run proponent.
I'm pretty sure he joked about we probably didn't know anything about that power eye anymore and those sorts of things. But he's as run oriented as we had always been in the years that I coached under Coach McClure. I think he understood the reason for change, and he even made a comment once that he said you guys are young enough to change, and he was under the impression that he really couldn't change and wanted to stick to the run game, and I love the run game. If we ever end up with another 200-pound tailback, you probably look for us in I formation, but for right now, with the personnel we have, we feel like it's the best thing for us to do.
You've been able to, with this program, to get consistently better every year. Why do you think that is?
Well, we had rode a series of 6 straight playoff teams right before Coach McClure retired. And I was offensive coordinator during that same span. But the thing we always had was that big tailback. We were run heavy. We had Jake Parker was here and had a couple 2,000-yard seasons at running back. And you take players like that caliber. We had the Jake Parkers and the Ryan Churches and the Tyler Bennett's and the Devontae Pettit's and just to name a few. There's other guys, and I don't mean to short straw anybody.
But there's so many of them.
But those guys, you feed them the ball, and in single A football, you can be relatively successful with a big running back and pretty decent blocking up front. And where we are now, our tailback's about 170, 175 pounds right now. A good kid, one of the stronger kids we have. But the fact of the matter is, we feel like we have enough skilled people on the edge that we can share the ball and get quality touches in other parts of the field other than lined up behind center.
Talk about your personnel on offense then, and I really want to get to Hunter Claypool here, but first, your personnel on offense.
You mentioned Claypool there. He'll line up as our tailback, and he'll get his fair share of carries and also his fair share of touches out of the backfield as a receiver. Dustin Aggins is a junior quarterback returner for us, and like I say, we're working on his decision making and our decision making as coaches as well. Our 2 outside receivers are seniors. Tyler Martin missed part of a year last year due to injury. He's back 2 years ago. Was probably one of our best, if not best, pass catchers. Aiden Redden on the other side missed the biggest part of his sophomore season due to an off-the-field injury. But he had a nice junior season for us and really made 2 big catches in the final game here against Gilmer County that helped us to win the ball game and a close one at the end. Those 2 guys will definitely be quality receivers for us. And add an element of speed. We're gonna bring those guys across the ocean and run some jet sweep with them and try to get them on the edge. Our inside receivers have got one more pretty speedy guy in James Mcclure, who's really come on here. He played on defense for us last year, played sparingly on offense, but he's really come on as a speed guy for us. And his hands are coming along, and he's going to be a better pass catcher this year. And Ryan Cooper's our 4th receiver to round out the 4 that started for us last year. These guys can all catch balls. Cooper had a handful of touchdowns last year, and I think was the 2nd leading receiver on the team. He's the bigger of the bunch, and he'll be more the tight end style for us. May even move him to some in the line tight end rather than splitting him out. But he's going to be a quality pass catcher for us as well.
And on the line, you've got a guy like Logan Hatfield. Hasn't given up a sack in his career. Now that you're in more of a passing type offense, that's quite an accomplishment.
It is. You take a kid like that. Logan's 6'3" or something. Very long armed, very rangy guy that pass sets well, and he can get in the way if nothing else. He's not the broadest kid, but like I say, his reach, his athleticism for a bigger kid really makes him a quality pass blocker for us.
You can only have one leading tackler in the state. And for the regular season, that leading tackler in the state was right here at Meadow Bridge, Hunter Claypool, with 162 stops. Talk about him and his mentality, especially, and his philosophy, I guess, on defense.
Well, Hunter's one of those guys that just has instinct to find football. We've had several good linebackers. I know we talked about running backs earlier, but we've had several good linebackers also come through here at Meadow Bridge, and one thing they all share is that instinct. He has a natural instinct to find a football and just attacks it. Hunter was kind of thrown to the fire for us as a freshman. We had an injury out here in a scrimmage game, and we jerked him up, halfway through the scrimmage game, throw him at linebacker, and then as we're approaching week 1, we were thinking, well, shoot, he's the best guy to start there for us, and he ended up starting 10 ball games for us as a freshman at inside linebacker. Missed the biggest part of his sophomore season. He had a hip injury in our first scrimmage game that year, and then finished out the year, in a limited role toward the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, and really last year came in and really picked up where he left off as a freshman. His freshman season was a phenomenal season for a freshman playing inside linebacker, and like I say, last year, when you look out at the guys getting up off a pile, Hunter Claypool was going to be one of them.
Were you surprised he wasn't the first team All-State linebacker last year?
Well, I looked at that stuff and saw some quality names, and while I thought he could possibly be a first-team linebacker, I don't know that he was shortchanged when you looked at the names that were.
Right. And there were some good ones. Really
there were some good ones, and to be honest, at the linebacker position, there was a lot of competition, as we like to say. And I thought
just like the tailback position,
right? And I definitely thought he could have been a first teamer, but I knew he should be in the talk there somewhere.
Now you were able to accomplish something that I'm not even sure they did this during Coach McClintock's tenure, but that is successfully kick a field goal with your kicker Kyle Hinkett. I mean that he said when you said money team, he knew it was his time to shine. So you must have known enough that he was good from 32 yards where he kicked that field goal last year against Webster County.
Yeah, definitely. We had actually early in the game against Webster County had squandered a scoring opportunity deep in their territory and turned the ball over on downs. And the second time we get down there, I felt in my mind we had to put some points on the board. And we had an opportunity, I thought, to possibly score a touchdown, and ended up with a penalty that put us in a fourth down position where I felt like the safe bet to put points on the board was to give the guy a try. And in practice, he was very accurate from the distance. We had kicked several extra points at that point. Wasn't much more than an extended extra point for him. So I thought, let's line him up and give him a shot. And, he nailed it. And, I think to the surprise of a lot of people, Meadow Bridge is kicking field goals.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever happening. I think you went back and checked, and Coach McClure told you the last attempted field goal was 83.
Yeah, he told me. Of course, people get to ask, well, when's the last time Meadow Bridge kicked a field goal? And I asked Coach myself, and he said, well, I can't tell you the last time one of them was made, but he said I can tell you the last one was attempted was in the '83 playoffs, and he said it got blocked.
And then after that, he was good with not ever.
Yeah, he was content at just going for it.
It really doesn't get. You must have really enjoyed your time with Coach McClure, because it really doesn't get much better than.
Oh, the time I was able to learn from Coach McClure and be here was very special. To play for the guy, have the honor to coach under him, and really take over the reins for him and try to continue what we've done here at Meadow Bridge. It's been an honor. The guy was here for 47 years. There's not a person that you talk football to in Southern West Virginia that doesn't know Larry McClure.
Probably the state.
And probably the state. At one time he was the had the longest tenure of anybody and had the most victories for.
And he's one of the best guys. Yeah, so I'm sure you'd agree in the coaching ranks. I mean,
Absolutely.
One of the all-time good guys.
And I've tried to model my behaviors off of him, and I learned to be that gentleman that he always was.
But you will kick field goals and go to the passing game.
Absolutely. Hey, if you've got personnel, and Coach was a believer in that, if you've got personnel that can get the job done, we'll do what it takes to win football games.
What's the back of that shirt saying?
Can we show it?
Yeah, that's fine. If it ain't the power eye, it ain't football. So you can really take the man out of the power eye, but you can't take the power eye out of the man, or vice versa, however that works.
That's right. However that works, we're not too far removed from the power eye. As I mentioned earlier, if we end up with another big tailback here in the next few years, you're probably going to see us there.
It was a lot of success with it.
Absolutely, and even when I watch college football and things, I like to watch the Wisconsins and those guys that's going to line up and run power football at you.
Absolutely.
That's been my brand of football my whole life. Of course, as we've progressed here in the past year or so, I've branched my loyalty to some of the teams that throw the ball a little more, and try to see things that they do, and really follow these guys in clinic talks and that sort of thing, to learn about as much about the other aspects of the game that maybe I didn't focus on as much when we were run oriented.
Given the state of your schedule, and it's a very competitive schedule, but your players to a man, and I think because of the success you've had, and it's continued improving each year, they're thinking playoffs. Is your goal? I would assume that it always is, but legitimately, playoffs this season?
Yeah, absolutely. We came up a little bit short last year. We finished 6-4, and I think we were 18th in the final rankings. We lost a close ball game to East Hardy out here, a one touchdown game that probably puts us in the middle of the playoff field somewhere. If we can get that one, we went to Summers County and laid a goose egg. And I can go back and think, we went to Clay Battelle and made a ton of mistakes and get beat by a touchdown or so. I can think of the roller coaster we were up and down.
Well, like the Midland Trail game, for instance, you did beat them, and that's a play. Frankie Isaacs has a perennial playoff team over there.
That's right. We go to Midland Trail week 3 and probably played the best game of our season. We were tough defensively and had enough offense to put a few points on the board and win a close ball game at Midland Trail, and that's no easy feat. This year it's not going to get easier. The schedule is very competitive. I still am a believer that you have to win a minimum of 7 ball games single A to get in the playoffs.
Right.
And we've got a number of playoff teams on our schedule. We got East Hardy again. We got Midland Trail again. Greenbrier West, Summers County, just to name a few. We got Rich Woods, a new opponent on our team that we're not familiar with. That turns out some fairly quality ball teams at times. and a South Harrison team that I added late due to the pandemic and losing week 1 against Van that I don't know anything about. But there were only a handful of games out there, and we were looking to fill our schedule and try to play as many football games as we can for these kids.
All right, Coach, I appreciate the time and good luck this season.
Thank you.